So far, this is my favorite picture of Wendy, so we're gonna use it. I've only watched the first episode, so I'm gonna have to catch up, y'all. I know I'm coming. Don't tell me what happened in the comment. We know that the new cast member has said something about Wendy being Osu. I'm not even gonna hold you. When I first heard it, I'm thinking, what's wrong with being Oshun? That's what I thought they said. For those that don't know who Oshun is, go look her up, baby. But as I continue to dig deep, that's one thing about me. If I want to know something, I'm going to go digging for it, and it's going to take me a long time to get out the rabbit hole. I just came up for air. Now I understand why it's such a derogatory term to call someone, period. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but calling somebody Osu is probably worse than what Mia did to Wendy last season. If not, that incident with Mia and the Osu comment is like neck and neck. Because I'm just learning of what Osu is, I'm just going to play this clip of this video I saw of a man working to dismantle this ideology in Africa. Hopefully, this will give us a better idea of what Osu is.
The process, I've been doing a lot of researches and all of that, but I can tell you one thing that nobody has been able to argue with, okay? First of all, one of the most prominent of all the descriptions I've got about or definitions for Osu is this. It's something that stemmed from slavery. All right. You remember back in the days, during the days of transatlantic slavery, yes, people would just look at their fellow human beings, people who were like you, and then capture them. Okay, mark them for sale and then sell them over to the slave masters. Yes. And so something was happening at that time. It became a criminal enterprise. It was a very lucrative venture, right? And then what happened was that people started saying, you know what? Some guys in the town were very rich, wealthy, okay? And so the best way to take away all their wealth and everything they had was to just mark them for sale, grab them and sell them over to the slave masters.
That happened generations ago. So how did it affect people living in these times?
Well, the thing is, that nonsense happened then, and after that happened, let me tell you how that started.
And inadvertently, you're saying that also people were the wealthiest people, and that's why they were attacked?
Most of them were very wealthy. So they were targeted. Yes, jealousy and just criminal elements. And so when somebody got a tip off that a guy who is wealthy is about to be captured and sold into slavery, they would go to him and say, hey, we just heard that you're going to be picked up at 12 a.m. tonight, or you're going to be picked up by 1 a.m. tonight. So when that happened, those guys would say, you know what, since they're coming from here, the only place that I could go for refuge, the only place that the people who were into this enterprise dreaded was the alusis, the shrines, the deities. Yes. So these guys who had gotten tip off that they were going to be picked up would run to the alusi to go and hide. Yes. So the moment they go to the alusi, people will now look at them and say, oh, they're now properties of the gods. So that's how they become the untouchables.
How did something
Go watch that full video. It's one of the few sources that I found that was very eye-opening for me. I haven't even watched the last episode. I know it's going to piss me off, but I did see the tweet that the NNeka, because, they all came for Alfonso because he said her name wrong. Baby, I can chop and screw somebody's name real quick. I don't mean no harm, but the homegirl who called Wendy Osu commented this right after the first episode aired. He added Ashley Darby and said, really? But the comments did not disappoint y'all. Now, I don't know how to pronounce all this, but you see what the girl said. She said, tap dancing for biracials and people from another country to put down your own sister. I think she meant to put down your own sister. But anyways, now you're seeing the backlash. You're trying to hide your hands. You're a disgrace. Embedded says, yes, really, after 7 seasons, you should know who you're fooling with. We all watched and knew. Why not you? Because why not? Surely you did your research. And this was probably my favorite. They can't even discuss colorism. Now you're planting this seed in Ashley's head. This is way too sensitive a topic for Ashley Darby and RHOP, just the way she casually dropped that on Wendy. She has no idea of the gravity. Why would you even discuss it with Ashley? Good question. Good question. And I found this comment too under a YouTuber's page. It was so profound, I had to post. Y'all can read all of it, like you can screenshot it, but this is the part that jumped out to me. Osu are people whose ancestors were bound to deities. Like, for example, in the old days, if someone did something wrong and the villagers are after them, they can run into a shrine and bind themselves to the deity, and that will make everyone leave them alone. This act of attaching themselves to a deity automatically affects their generations too. It's the same as what the guy was saying. First, they called this woman's husband Happy Eddie. Then they said she was trying to be somebody she wasn't because she decided to get her body done and show it off. To find out production is the one that put that bug in her ear about switching up her wardrobe. Then they said her husband was cheating on her. Got me a big lip, big face ass. Threw a drink on Miss Wendy. And now they got this NNeka girl. Am I saying it right? Now there is an old article from 2015. I think that was the date that came out about Wendy and her family and the whole Osu situation. So to NNeka's credit, this information was already out there. We just wasn't privy to, but she was the one to bring it to the audience of Real Housewives of Potomac. We will get into that here shortly.